everybody, it is Sid. Welcome back to my channel. What is up, doll gang? So, we're gonna have a little chit chat about my ex with two dads. Not one, but two. Okay, so let me give you guys a little background on him. So, how he came to have two dads was he was born in Norway, which is like way like in Europe, and something was up with, I don't know if it was child abuse, I don't know what it was, but him and his siblings were all brought here to the United States, where they started a case here, and then they were eventually adopted by a gay couple. So, he does have two dads. And this is my disclaimer for this video. If you get triggered by homophobia, drug use, not like drug use, but pot, this is not the video for you. I love you. Click out. I will see you next week. But, yeah. So, this guy was adopted by two dads. I don't know how old he was. He just said that there was, like, they don't know why they were brought here, but there was, like a DCF, like a DCF case. So, it's him, he has a brother, and then I think two sisters, but yeah. So, we met originally 6 years ago. I was 18 years old. Lord help me, Jesus. Like, oh God. So, like, we'd met on some app. I don't even remember what it was. Like, I can't even remember what I ate yesterday. So, we meet on this app. We start talking for a while, flirting back and forth, whatever. And mind you, I'm 18 years old. I'm still in high school. And he is like the age that I am now. So he was 22. And now that I think about it, it is crazy that I was with somebody that's that much older than me. Even now, if I'm like on some app or something, and some like 19, 20-year-old, 18-year-old kid tries to talk to me, I'm like, no, bye, swipe, left swipe, like, no. The emoji, like, no. And so we started talking, blah, 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 and he kind of starts pressuring me about meeting up. And I'm like, fuck, what do I do? What do I do? So, I think, yeah, I was on spring break, it was March, and I don't know if I asked, bad Cydney, but, like, I talked to my dad about it, and he met him and everything, and the whole time, I'm just, like, nervous and shaking, and, like, holding his hand, my hand's going like this the whole time that they're meeting, because I have two older sisters. And when my oldest sister went to prom, my dad, literally, like, the guy sat down to wait on my sister, and my sister came down, and my dad was sitting in between them, like, my dad would be, like, in the middle, and my sister would be, like, here, and the guy would be, like, here, and he'd be like, so, what are your intentions? Blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh, no. Oh, God, this is gonna be really bad. So, yeah, that's how that started, and he'd just be, like, coming over, and he'd be, like, hanging out, and stuff like that. So, this is kind of when shit hit the fan. My dad's brother, which is my favorite uncle in the whole entire world, Uncle Keith, I will totally tell you guys more stories about him as we go along, but he's like my everything. I was like his favorite niece in the whole wide world. So basically, Uncle Keith had something called cardiomyopathy. His heart wasn't beating fast enough, so they would give him, it kind of looked like a fanny pack that he had, but he would have like a net for the IV, and then they would give him medicine through that fanny pack, and he would just carry it on him, and that's what kept his heart at a steady pace. So he eventually, he had been on the list for years and years and years to get a heart transplant, because heart transplants are about $100,000, and he had been going to Shands for appointments and stuff like that with his heart, and so he had been trying to like raise the funds to get a heart transplant, and eventually he never made it because he caught a cold, and we all know how men are stubborn, men don't want to say they're sick until they're dying, and then God forbid you have a cold, you act like a baby. So he would have a nurse come in every day, and he wouldn't tell her like, hey, I don't feel good, something's wrong. And eventually, with like all the stuff going on in his body, his immune system just couldn't handle it, and he eventually got sick and passed away. I don't like talking about this because it kind of freaks me out, because that whole week, I remember I didn't go to school for like a whole week, because that side of my family is in South Florida, Vero Beach. Vero Beach is about 2.5 hour drive from here. So we're going back and forth from Vero, and I'm a hot freaking mess, because that was my favorite uncle. Like, I'm a hot mess. So before this was, I think, before this happened, he passes away. So he passes away, and my mom's like, you know what, I think you should go to school. I think that it would be okay. I think it would be good for you to get a little bit of that aggression out, because my first class was gym. So I don't even know what I was fucking thinking when I did this, but like, I would have, because I have cerebral palsy, somebody take me and pick me up from each class. So they assigned one of the kids to do it, because our special education department at that school, once you can stay until you're 22 years old, but yeah, you can stay until you're 22 years old. So a lot of those kids that were like 19, 20, that had already like gotten all their credits, like finished high school but were still there, were either like running errands for the attendance office, or like me, like taking me to classes, stuff like that, like helping. So this kid, like freaking, oh my gosh, he was freaking trip. I don't even remember, but I know that, I don't even remember like exactly what his disability was, but I do know that he was like a foster kid kind of, and he had a brother. So he would take me to each class, back and forth, pick me up, and then I remember he was in ROTC, so he would like take me to my first class and then go ROTC. So I come up with the bright fucking idea, because like, you have to be dressed out to even walk your happy fat ass in that gym, like, into like the workout area, because let me tell you something about that gym. That gym is fucking insane, because we had Vince Carter, the basketball player, he went to that school, so he donated like, I've got to say, hundreds of thousands for that whole school to be rebuilt. So it's like three stories. Can't talk today, God. It's like 3 stories, And the gym is insane. There's an elevator in that gym because there's literally one basketball court upstairs, one basketball court downstairs. There's like a whole weight room. There's like ellipticals, what do you call it thing, treadmills. And my knack was the elliptical. I love the freaking elliptical. That's like the only thing I'd get on. Like weights, anything, no, but the elliptical, like just put your headphones on and just run and run and run. So, I'm like a freaking hot mess because of all this stuff. My uncle died, and mind you, I am so sick, stuffy, I have a sinus infection. I was just not feeling it. So, what does 18-year-old Cydney do? So, I called him and I'm like, hey babe, can you come get me? Like, I can't do this shit. So, he lives in Winter Park, so I had to wait about an hour. And I'm like, okay, I'll just go to this class, and then he'll be here. Because I think each class was like 45 minutes. I called him, and like, he came straight there, and I had Clayton take me to him, which is really, really bad. This is where I fucked up, because I don't even know how he got through security, but he did. He got through security, and he came and got me, and we went all the way to freaking Orlando. So this is where Cydney effed up, because everybody must have been like, oh, where's Cydney? And then, of course, Clayton was like, oh, she went with her boyfriend, blah, 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 blah. He lives in Orlando. And everybody's like, oh, fuck, Cydney's missing. So, like, I get in the car with him, and he's like, I already called work and told work that I wasn't coming in today because I have you with me. He was a paramedic. So, and then he's like, I want you to meet both my dads. So, okay, the two dads. One dad was just white, and then the other dad was Cuban, I believe, and he did not like me at all. For some reason, he was like low-key a little bit racist. Not saying that all Hispanic people are racist, it was just like, that's just how he was. So, I think I met the white dad first. His family owns like I don't even know what it is, but it's like a big ass warehouse, and literally you walk in there and it looks like hoarders. There is stuff everywhere, and it's like stuff stacked up this high, and then they have dogs, so like the dogs are running around, and he was super cool, and I met him, and he was like, are you sure you're 18? And I was like, yeah, because I get told that I look young all the time, and like, I'm 5'1", 100 pounds, so I'm itty bitty, and everybody's like, when I tell people how old I actually am, they're like, you are? I'm like, yeah. So he was like, are you sure you're 18? Because obviously, he's 22. Like, that is a grown man. So, I meet that dad. Everything goes well. He seems like he likes me. He's super cool. So, we go to the house to meet the other dad. And the other dad, he's like kind of warning me in the car. He's like, just be on guard that my dad is kind of like blunt and up front and a little bit like racist. And I'm just like, and by the way, my ex is just like white because he's from Norway and white, blonde, just like, so I'm like, oh god, here we go. Oh Jesus, having a freaking panic attack. Mind you, my phone's going off because I've got my mom, my dad, whoever else calling me looking for me. So I turn my phone off so that it's not driving me nuts. And then we go meet the other dad. So they had this like big Great Dane that he kind of scared me. I'm not scared of dogs. I love animals. If you know me, you know I have 2 cats. But this goddamn dog looks like a horse who's huge. So he's kind of huffing at me, and I'm like, ah. And his dad's like, be careful with the dog, and I'm like, no, I'm okay. And then he was saying something about literally in front of me to my ex, like, oh, I saw him making out with some girl, and immediately I start giving my ex the stink eye, and I'm like, oh, really, did you? Like, when we get back in the car, like, it is on and popping. And he's like, no, I didn't. Like, his dad was just trying to kind of fuck with me. He was, like, because my ex had, like, shown him pictures of me and stuff, and he was saying some not so very nice things, so I was already on guard about this dude. So we meet that dad, and then we go back to the apartment, stuff happens, I'm gonna spare you the details, and he's like, dude, I'm like, I don't know what to do, everybody's blowing up my phone. He's like, I gotta take you back to school, I have to. Or like, oh, we were gonna go get food. So we go through McDonald's, and like, on the way home I couldn't even eat. Because I knew I was going to be in trouble. You know, when you do something bad, your whole body is just like freaking out. So I think I ate 1 cheeseburger and a couple of fries. He's like, I know you're hungry, you need to eat. And mind you, he's stressed out too. Mind you, there's a storm, and he is in this like beat up old truck that, like, honestly, I felt like that truck was going to flip, because that's how bad the wind was. The wind, it's storming, it's thundering, and I felt like that truck was going to flip and we were going to be in an accident, because we were on the highway. So I'm just praying the whole way there that we make it home. And, like, he's stressed too, because every time I looked over, he's pulling a cigarette out the pack. And he probably smoked that whole pack all the way back. So oh no, I didn't have them drop me off at the school, okay. I just went straight to my dad's house because, like, everything in my body was just telling me, go home, go home. So I go home, and then his wife walks in. And of course, I'm like freaking out, having a panic attack. This is when me and her were like good and close and decent. Now we're not anymore. I'll do a video about that too. But yeah, so, and now she always holds that against me for doing that, which we'll get into that in a different video. But yeah, so I told her what happened, blah blah blah. I've literally got the sheriff from the school calling me, trying to figure out where I am. And I guess the sheriff must have called him and been like, where is she? Do you have her with you? And then he was like, dude, she's 18. Like, she physically made the choice to come with me. Like, I didn't hold a gun against her head. I didn't force her to. Like, she's 18. She made that choice for herself, is basically what it kept saying. So I get home, mom's house home, and literally, like, I am in so much trouble. My TV is like unplugged in her room, on the on the dresser. My phone got taken away from me. What else? She gave me like an alarm clock so I could set my alarm to be able to get up in the morning. Yeah, so I was in trouble for a while. And then I remember the week, or I think it was like a week or two that I got in trouble. And it was freaking prom. So I was still grounded around prom. Like, it was crazy. So all this crap happened. come to find out that my dad literally called him and told him that he cannot see me anymore, that my dad doesn't want me around him. And then, not to mention, my dad got home that day, and we kind of got in a screaming match. He was like, what even caused you to do that? That's crazy. Like, you think you're in love? Like, you can't be in love when you're 18 years old. And, of course, when we're 18 years old, we think we know everything, and we've got life all figured out, but you don't. And he's like, Cydney, that is a 23-year-old grown man. That's insane. Don't do that. And he's like, what about school? What about this? What about that? So basically, me and my dad get into a screaming match, and we rarely ever fight like that. So basically, like, that was my dad's way of just telling me, like, hey, you need to get your shit together, because I was, like, graduating high school, because this is April, I was graduating high school in June, and, like, I need to get my shit together, so that kind of helped me, like, get my shit together. So, like, we don't see each other anymore, and I think we broke up, I want to say, like, July that year. He was just like, I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, cool, I don't need you, like, I'm good. So, 2 years later, fast forward, this was like 3 years ago, he, like, hits me up one day, because he still follows me on, like, Snapchat and stuff, and he's like, I miss you, and I'm like, what do you mean? And at this point, like, you know how you kind of grow out of a relationship, and then you're just like, was I high the whole time? Like, what was I even thinking me with you? So, he's like, I miss you, want to hang out with you, and so he ends up picking me up. I get in the truck, and mind you, I think the first time that I ever smoked pot, it was with him. And mind you, I only smoke pot, like, maybe once or twice a year. I literally don't make a habit of it, because who pays for their own dope? Like, not I. So we get in the car, and he's got, like, his pipe already loaded, his bowl loaded, and it's, like, in this little case thing. And he hands it to me, and he's like, here. So I get it out and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I taught you very well. He's already got it all packed up for me and everything. I didn't have to say it. Good boy. Like, we're in the car, we're just smoking, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. So we go to the movies that night, and I can't even remember what movie it was. Atomic Blonde. And we're sitting in the movies, you guys, and I'm freezing, I'm shaking, I'm hungry. Like, he can hear me shivering. He's like, are you cold? I'm like, yeah. And I put my hand on his face, and he was like, oh. So he's, like, trying to make an excuse to snuggle with me. There's people staring at us, waiting for us to make out or something, which I was totally turned off at that time, because literally, he had been sitting, I had a shirt kind of like this on, and he had been sitting next to me, literally, like, right here, and he was, like, going, like, down my shoulder and all down my neck, and it was just creeping me out. I'm like, why are you even doing that? Like, I was just so turned off at this point. And so we get out of that movie, and he takes me home. And he stops in, like, some weird parking lot. I'm like, what are you doing? And then he turns around. Well, he wanted to mess around and make out or whatever, but he could totally tell that I was not feeling that shit at all. I was like, and he could totally feel that. So he turned around and took me home, and yeah, we have not communicated in about 2 years, so it's perfectly okay for me to tell the story. This is crazy that I'm telling this story. Yeah, but that was the story with the ex with 2 dads. I love you guys oh so very much, and I will see you in my next video. Stay true and stay weird, and I love you.